Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today I'm going to review a technique that I use to sharpen my lawn mower blades. This is specifically for my lawn tractor. I've got 3 of them. And this particular one right here is quite common, and it is a 6-star or 6 points all the way along. Mounts on the bottom of my mower deck with a big nut. And how do you actually balance one of these? So today's video is going to be about how you can balance this. No tools, no fancy tools. You don't got to go buy any kind of jig or that kind of stuff. And with a regular lawnmower blade, the ones that just got like a regular hole going through here, well, you can just put like a nail or use a screwdriver or something, and well, you can get it in the center, right? But this has 6 holes, and you can't do it with this one. The only hole on this is the center one, and that's not going to get you nowhere, right? And so how do you balance this, right? Unless you've got like a special jig. They make them to go against the wall, and they got a magnet and they got a big cone, or the ones in, a cone, the one on the bottom like this. All kinds of different ways to do it, right? Well, I don't use any of them. I have my own special technique, and I'm sharing it with you today. Now, let's just say you got a 5-hole one. Well, if you got like one of these that's got a 5-hole, yeah, one of these will be perpendicular, right level on the top. So you can just put your screwdriver in like this, or a nail, and bring it to level. That's on a 5-hole. This is a 6. It's a different animal. So I got everything all set up here. I got my jig all set up, and you take a look at this. Let me know what you think, because this is what I've been doing, and it has worked out terrific. I got no vibration on my mower deck, and I think it's a better way. So let's get to it right now. Okay, so I got everything set up, but first I'm going to show you this blade here. It's sharpened. I never did cleaned it. I just sharpened it. So I mean, there's not all kinds of heavy caked on dirt, but yes, there is dirt on it and that kind of stuff. So do you have to remove all the dirt? Well, it's not really that critical, but if you got great big hunks, I think it's best to clean your blades in the first place. So yeah, before you're going to balance it, clean your blades. But does it make that much of a difference? Well, we're going to see. So this is the setup right here. So I'm going to get you all zoomed in, and I'm going to explain exactly how this works. But all I can say is I am using a 3/16 drill bit. I got it in my vise, and you could see that there's some tape down there that I only use for demonstration purposes. I usually don't even use the tape, but I've got this end here identified in yellow, and this one here identified in black. So let's just take a close-up view and see exactly what's going on here. Okay, so this is the whole idea behind balancing these type of blades, is you will always have opposing holes. So this one here and this one here. So I've marked these 2 because one is going to be for that end of the blade, the other one is going to be for this end of the blade. And when you take a look, say at where is the position of this particular drill bit, well, I just adjust it in the vise up and down until it barely touches at one end. So if you take a look at this end right here, yeah, it's just it just hovers. It just barely even touches. So that's where your first position part should be. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take the blade, rotate it around to the opposite side, and put it approximately the same spot every time. And what do you have here? It's sitting roughly the same position. It's not actually touching. It's just just very close to touching. And that is really a good balance right there. And that's easy enough for anybody to do. Now, if you just take a look at, say, this blade here, of course it's all cleaned and everything, but let's put on one of them dirty blades. And we'll just start with this one right here. Now that is just dragging just a little bit there. So if we go around to the opposite side, you know, that's pretty close right there. So I mean, if you're thinking about, okay, does all that dirt make a difference? Well, you know, it could. Because what's the whole idea of balancing a blade is to make sure it's got repeatability. So for you that have a hole in the center here, well, it would be to get it to go perfectly level, and that's exactly what you'd want. And for this particular situation, as long as you have the same distance from the bottom here at both ends, well, it's pretty well balanced. So how do you know when it is not balanced? Okay, so there we are with the blade, and you know, that's not bad at all, you know, like, I mean, so what do you do when you have to balance it? Let's just take, for instance, we'll just put this weight on here. Now you can see how that moved up, and that's only a pencil with a small little magnet in the end. So it's obvious this end has too much weight. You have to reduce the weight, and that's it. So how do you reduce the weight? Well, you can go along this cutting edge and cut more off. But you know, a lot of times you're cutting a lot and a lot and a lot. So a lot of people, what they do, and this is something that I've done as well, is cut on the end. If you want to take weight off, take it off the end here, not your cutting blade. So taking it off the end here is fine. Yeah, it'll reduce the, you know, the length of it, but there's it's not reducing the blade. So you can take some of the weight off of this end here, because if you've got too much weight here, well, it's going to cause vibration on your spindle deck and probably wreck a bearing. So you're better off to balance your blades properly. So let's get to what is the proper tools for sharpening a blade. So what is the proper tools for sharpening a blade? It's whatever you have that you can use that you can put a nice sharp edge on. The last video I talked about sharp edges. I'm not going to repeat it again today, but whatever tool you have, whether it's a file. Now some people, they use this, one of these big grinders, because they're in an industrial setting where they're cutting a lot of grass and their blades are getting chewed all to pieces. You have no choice but getting very aggressive. But I don't use that. I use this right here, and like you can see in my last video, it takes me about 20 seconds each side, and that's it, I'm done. I'm not, you know, hitting rocks and stumps and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people, yeah, they have to go to one of these. Now, could you imagine when you get a mower blade and it's rounded right off because it's been used so much? And yeah, I've had a lot of comments about people that when they get their blades back to be sharpened, well, you can't even tell where the edge was. Now imagine taking all that weight off. And how do you balance it between both sides? So you can see when I put the pencil on one end with that little tiny magnet on there, it make a big difference, right? So you have to actually make sure that it is balanced, because you know, bad things happen when you get so much vibration on your mower from an unbalanced blade. And this is the solution that I found. This is, you know, it's logical to me. You know, one side, turn it over to the other side, they should be the same. And you know, for me, I found it, you know, logical to do it that way, and I've been doing it that way ever since. I have no vibrations on my deck, and it's very easy for me to just touch these up, and you know, and just go along with the die grinder there with an 80 grit, and it's I think it's a good way to sharpen your blades, unless you're in an industrial setting, and you have to go with one of these, and you're taking off a lot of meat, right? So thanks for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed this little tip on how I sharpen my blades. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you think it's a good idea, or if you ever seen somebody balance a blade like this. Guys, take care. Come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and have some more fun with me too. Cheers.